Hey, welcome back everyone, Mike Zero here once again. Today we are discussing Star Wars Episode VIII, and I really wanted to look at two characters, that being of course Anakin Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Now, today I have a special guest with us. We have CHRISCROSSMEDIA. Say hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, so we were actually talking about this the other day, about how Anakin Skywalker could have some form of role in Episode 8 and how that could possibly connect to Kylo Ren. So
Right.
yeah.
I mean, this is not old news. I mean, we talk about Star Wars constantly, and this is another one of those topics that you and I are just talking about randomly, and we came up with this idea of, well, the fact that Anakin Skywalker died doesn't necessarily mean that he's no longer the chosen one, and that
Correct.
even after death, there's still things that he must do to bring balance to the Force. That maybe in the afterlife, or as a Force ghost, that he has to essentially right all of Vader's wrongs and fix all the loose ends. So we began discussing different things that he could do, and one of those things is to turn his grandson back to the light.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
right now, I think the biggest threat to the Force and I guess the galaxy right now really is Kylo Ren. So, Mike, what do you think about that?
You know, I think it would really give all the more purpose to Anakin Skywalker as a character if they were to go down this way, right? I think it would be the perfect way, because I know the prequels do get a lot of flack. However, there would be a really good choice here to give the prequels more purpose, since Anakin Skywalker as a character comes from the prequels. If you were to have him be the chosen one still, and pretty much he pursues for Kylo Ren to turning back to the light, it would really just give Anakin Skywalker a deeper purpose as a character in the whole entire Star Wars films. If that makes sense, you know? I mean, it would make him more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always felt like just throwing the Emperor down the shaft wasn't necessarily the chosen one's purpose. For all we know, Emperor Palpatine could have eaten an apple and accidentally choked on the core and then died instantly. So is the apple the chosen one? I mean, the thing is, I feel like Anakin has a lot more to do within the galaxy.
For sure.
And I know that Lucas gets a lot of flack for making the tweaks to the original trilogy. I mean, some of those things may have seemed a little bit ridiculous, like the rock that was placed in front of R2-D2 in A New Hope. But I also feel like he is a perfectionist, and he does things specifically to fit his vision. And I strongly believe that the fact that he took Sebastian Shaw out of the end of Return of the Jedi and put Hayden Christensen at the end was a very strategic thing.
Yes.
And I highly believe, especially after seeing that concept art in the Art of Force Awakens book with an Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost that can go back and forth between a Vader and a
I call
young
that
Anakin
the
Skywalker.
shape-shifting Force Ghost.
There you go. There you go. TM, trademarked by Mike Zero. I strongly believe that we're going to see the Hayden Christensen character again, and in the way that he's going to reveal himself to Kylo Ren, and I believe he's going to show him what can happen to yourself if you give yourself to the dark side. By revealing, how tormented he was, how broken he was, all the terrible things he did, how his body was mutilated, how he was no longer powerful. He was just a puppet of the dark side. He was not in control of his own emotions or feelings.
That's right. And
I
he could
feel
even
like that
show Kylo Ren that the Emperor is essentially doing the same exact thing what Snoke is doing to Kylo.
Absolutely.
And Kylo could look at that as, this big wake-up call. Like, wow, that's what happened to him, and that's what led him down the dark path, and this is what's happening to me, essentially. So, it's interesting.
Absolutely. It's going to be that wake-up call for this character, and what better person to do that than the individual that he admires, his own grandfather. It's his own blood. And again, that's a really good thing you brought up is that I really see Vader or Anakin showing him that connection that, you know, him and Palpatine had together, what their dynamic was, and how it's so similar to Kylo Ren's and Snoke's dynamic. And I think this could be the big turning point, big turning point for Kylo Ren. So yeah, I mean, and the thing is, you know, I think it's going to be much like a you call it a force back, right? The flashback in Force Awakens.
Yeah, they call it a force back vision. Yeah.
Is that official? The force back?
I don't know if that's official. I've just been hearing that term everywhere. I prefer to use the term flashback, but I've heard force back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even technically though, they showed a vision of the future too, right?
That's true. That is true.
So it's like a force forward, force back. I don't know.
Well, screw it. Let's just call it a force vision. There you go.
There you go. The force vision. I think that's how he's going to reveal it to Kylo. And much like how if you watch the Clone Wars, when Anakin was given the vision of his future, and he saw like the ghost, or not the ghost, but the cloud smoke vision of the Vader mask,
right?
And he fell to his knees, and you know, he's like, it touched him, and he realized, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen if I don't do something. And then also just like how Luke Skywalker on Dagobah went through the cave, and he saw himself in Vader, and
when he takes
that was a
off
huge
the head.
wake up. Absolutely, and that was a huge wake up call to him. So I think that you know, as these movies, there's a line that Lucas said is that they rhyme, and I feel like with the sequel trilogy, they're going to do the same thing. And much like Luke had that realization in Empire Strikes Back, Kylo Ren, our Skywalker character, is going to have a realization, and I strongly, strongly believe that he's going to not be a dark side or a Knight of Ren much longer. I think that he's going to be a character that's going to eventually turn to the light or sacrifice himself in some way.
People
I don't know
would call
exactly.
that a little cliche, but I think it's going to happen. I really do.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it's cliche.
We see that he's struggling. We do.
Yeah, and I think it's only cliche if you do it beat by beat the same way. But if you do it in a unique way, where it's like you're meeting the ghost of Darth Vader.
Yes.
You know, that's I think that's so powerful.
See, that's
we've
the
never
thing
seen before.
They're treating the sequel trilogy, I believe, with Darth Vader's presence being in the background. I really do. They use the Darth Vader helmet. Kylo Ren as a character is totally based off of his inspiration of his own grandfather's path. And I think that as we progress through these films, you're going to see more and more callbacks to Darth Vader. We already heard of leaks that Kylo Ren's going to sport a Darth Vader cape. Now, apparently, I don't know if you heard of this leak as well, he's got his own personal TIE fighter that really reflects the TIE Advanced. Right. It's all these little things that Darth Vader's presence will always be in the sequel trilogy when it comes to Kylo Ren and other things as well. Right. So I think that there's definitely an importance to Anakin Skywalker, and I think he's still the chosen one. Still, some argue that it was Luke because he gave birth to Luke, and Luke is the one that redeemed his father, and you know, Anakin Skywalker is, you know, pretty much back at that point when he kills the Emperor. So, you know, who knows?
I don't
Darth necessarily agree, but we will have to wait and see what happens with Kylo in the sequel trilogies. So, you know.
So yeah, I mean that's what we think. I think that Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, has a lot more to do to bring balance to the Force, and I think that is one of the bigger things he must do is to turn Kylo Ren. So that's pretty much all I have for you, Mike.
Yeah,
and everyone watching.
Basically it. It's a really interesting discussion. I just want to say one thing here is that I think that a lot of people have been speculating about Hayden Christensen coming back for Episode VIII as a Force ghost. I do have my doubts. I haven't heard of any leaks of him on set or even in studio shooting sequences, but you gotta remember, they could always do this digitally. They could always do this perhaps in Episode 9. It may not even happen in Episode 8. But I think that there's definitely going to be some degree of Anakin Skywalker pretty much talking to Kylo Ren at some point that leads him.
I mean, keep in mind that nobody knew that Ewan McGregor was going to be voicing.
That's true.
Obi-Wan in Force Awakens, like he had that one line. No one knew that he came in for that. Who was it? Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
No one. There was like a lot of rumors about that. No one knew if that was concrete, and then that ended up being true. I think if they want to keep things secret, they can. I mean, the whole Princess Leia CGI in Rogue One was pretty much kept secret almost till the end. Tarkin was kind of hidden too.
Oh, very well.
I feel like if they want to keep this a secret, they can and they will.
That's true.
And we're still a year away from this film. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's things that are going to be leaked,
yeah.
right? And so many things are going to be leaked from now until then that we're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even realize that. And I'm sure if we go back to the timeline for Force Awakens, there's going to be a lot of things like, oh, I didn't realize. Okay, that was kind of leaked there. Or I didn't connect the pieces. That makes more sense now. I think the same thing here. Hayden Christensen was at the Rogue One premiere. Just going to say that.
That is true. Yeah, that's an interesting point that you brought up. Thanks for including that. That is something that people should know. But yeah, he was there. He was invited, and that was very nice of them.
It looks spiffy.
Yeah,
you look good, Hayden.
Yeah. He's holding up good.
He looks like he hasn't aged a day in over was it 17 years? Is that no. How long? When 2005, right?
2005. Yeah.
12 years.
He lives the farm life now, I heard. So.
What? Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
He's living on a farm?
He totally just walked away from Hollywood. Yeah, I think he just bought a house out somewhere in the middle of nowhere on a farm. That's what I heard. Yeah.
He's doing better than Jake Lloyd, I'll tell you that. Wow.
But yeah, guys, that's basically it. I think so, right, Chris? I think that's all we had to really talk about today.
Yeah, here's the thing. I want to know what you guys have to say about this. I mean, do you think that we're going to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker? Do you think that Vader's going to have some sort of a presence in the sequel trilogy? More importantly, do you think that Anakin Skywalker as a character is still the chosen one even after death and still has things to do to balance the Force? Or are we just totally off and we're just speculating in our fanboy dreams? Either way, it's fun to speculate, and who knows? I mean, Episode 8 is, like you said, less than a year away, and we have plenty of time to keep talking about this random thing. So, Mike, that's all I have to say. Anything to add to that?
Nope, I think that's all we got for today. So, yeah, guys, drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed the content for today, make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. And, yeah, that's about it, guys. Hope you have a great one, and take care.